Welcome to Dhanu's Academy. Today we will be learning about biomolecules. Contents of this video. What is a biomolecule? Composition of biomolecules, stereochemistry, and types of biomolecules. A biomolecule is an organic molecule that a living organism generates. In living organisms, biomolecules serve as building blocks of life and play an important role. Biomolecules are composed predominantly of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen, and sulfur. In terms of the percentage of the total number of atoms, the four most predominant elements in living organisms are hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon, which collectively make up around 99% of most cells' mass. Almost every biomolecule in a cell are carbon compounds that account for more than half the cell's dry weight. Covalent bonding between the carbon and the other elements enables a large number of compounds to be formed. It is considered that most biomolecules are hydrocarbon derivatives. Hydrogen atoms may be substituted by number of functional groups to develop different organic compound families. Typical families of organic compounds are the alcohols, which have one or more hydroxyl groups, amines, which have amino group, aldehydes and ketones, which have carbonyl groups, and the carboxylic acid, which have carboxyl groups. Many biomolecules are polyfunctional, comprising two or more functional groups of numerous types. The chemical properties of biomolecules are determined by the functional group. Many biomolecules show stereochemistry, which is usual with organic compounds. When four different types of atoms or functional groups are bonded to one carbon atom, the carbon atom is stereogenic or chiral or asymmetric. Two different isomeric forms that have different configuration in space may occur in compounds. The two different configurations are mirror images of each other and are not superimposable. If two compounds are mirror image of each other, they are enantiomers, a subset of stereoisomers or optical isomers. Typical enantiomers have similar chemical properties and vary only in the way they rotate plane polarized light or interact with other chiral compounds. Most biomolecules have several or many asymmetric carbons, and so many have many diastomers, a subclass of stereoisomers that are non-mirror images and have different properties. Stereochemistry is important since only one particular isomer of a given compound is typically used by biological systems. Types of biomolecules. The four main families of biomolecules in cells are sugars, fatty acids, amino acids, and nucleotides. Most of the biomolecules found inside cells are macromolecules and are often polymers composed of small monomeric subunits that are covalently linked. These macromolecules are proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. Nucleic acids and proteins are informational macromolecules. Proteins are amino acid polymers that comprise the largest fraction of cells. Nucleic acids, DNA, and RNA are nucleotide polymers. They store, coordinate, and translate genetic information. Polysaccharides, simple sugar polymers, have two main roles. They act as fuel stores that generate energy and as structural extracellular components. The next slide will be dealing with amino acids and proteins. Amino acids are relatively small molecules with molecular weight around 100 to 200. They are used to produce energy, to synthesize other molecules like hormones, and to make proteins. Proteins are polymers of amino acids. They fold into specific shapes and range in molecular weight from several thousand to over a million. Proteins function as enzymes which catalyze reactions, structural elements, transport molecules, antibodies, etc. Carbohydrates. The smallest carbohydrates are the monosaccharides with molecular weights of around 100 to 200. They are a major source of energy for biological systems. Polysaccharides are polymers of monosaccharides with molecular weight often in the millions. Polysaccharides also have definite shapes and serve as structural elements or as stored metabolic energy. Lipids. Lipids are relatively small water insoluble molecules with molecular weights of up to 750 to 1500. Because they are defined by their water insolubility, they are chemically more diverse than the other classes of biomolecules, with about half a dozen major types. Lipids are used for energy production and storage, hormones, structural elements of cell membranes, and vitamins. Lipids do not polymerize to form macromolecules, but they can aggregate non-covalently to form very large structures. Nucleotides are relatively small molecules with molecular weight in the hundreds. They function in transferring energy and in helping enzymes to catalyze reactions. Nucleic acids, the DNA and RNA, are large polymers of nucleotides with molecular weights up to billions. They form structures like the double helix and they function in storing, transmitting, and utilizing genetic information. Small organic molecules. In addition to the major classes of biomolecules, there are many relatively small organic molecules required by cells for very specific functions. These molecules do not fall neatly into one of the above major categories. These molecules can be precursors of biomolecules that help enzyme function, often related to vitamins, or can be intermediates in metabolic pathways. The inorganic ions, though not actually biomolecules, many inorganic ions are required by cells, often in trace amounts. These include calcium, sodium, iron, magnesium, potassium, chlorine, etc. Inorganic ions perform a variety of functions such as structural elements, calcium in bone, regulation of osmotic pressure and transport, and components of proteins and enzymes. Sometimes one biomolecule can contain components from two of the major classes, such as the lipoproteins, generally lipid plus protein, or a glycoprotein, which is carbohydrate plus protein. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.